My mother's car is leaking oil. She parked her car on my street and oil leaked onto the concrete. Last night it rained heavily and washed the oil into the storm drain. What kind of pollution resulted?
Great job! Water pollution is the accurate answer. What do we call to the unwanted sounds which produce discomfort for all living things? Perfect! Noise pollution is the correct choice. What are the effects of soil pollution? Direct contact with polluted soil can cause skin problems, respiratory problems, and in human beings. Great thinking. Cancer is the right choice. It refers to the air quality within and around building and structure, especially as it relates to the health and comfort of building occupants. Nicely done. Indoor air quality is a solid answer. What is the consequence of operating an industrial plant in an air pollution control area without the previous consent of the State Board? Exactly. Deemed consent by the State Board makes sense, and it is right choice. Who is responsible for setting the emission standards for non-mobile sources and the emission limits for vehicle exhaust gases? Clear logic. Your choice, the head of the Environmental Impact Control Agency, is sound and 100% true. How can you reduce air pollution arising from transportation? Use public because they emit relatively less pollution. Strong choice. Transport vehicles is the right answer.
Who has the power to make rules to carry out the purposes of the Water Act 1974?
Correct response. State government is the most accurate answer. Who has the power to constitute the State Board under the Water Act 1974? Right again. State government is a valid answer. How can you reduce air pollution arising from transportation? Avoid to reduce the emission of pollutants. Right choice. Accelerating rapidly is the best answer. I am sitting in traffic and see exhaust coming from the cars around me. What type of pollution am I seeing? Solid response. Air pollution is a valid choice. What is the power of the State Board in case of emergency measures in pollution of stream or well? Good job. Your answer to grant permission for increased discharge works? Well, here. What power does the state government have under the Air Act? You're right. Power to declare air pollution control areas is the correct answer. Which country is mentioned as having significant air pollution issues due to industrialization? Good thinking. India is the right answer. What is the main goal of carbon taxes, environmental standards, and tradable emission permits? Bravo! Reduce the negative impact of pollution on society is the answer. What is the benefit of passing laws that require firms to meet certain environmental standards? Sharp thinking. Reduces the negative impact on society is the right choice. The Central Pollution Control Board, statutory organization, was constituted in Correct. September 1974 is the right answer. What is a potential risk of tradable emission permits once the limit has been set? Nice selection. Does not necessarily lead to a reduction in pollution is the correct and valid answer. In which year was the 5th edition of the Pollution Control Law series published? Excellent. 2006 is a brilliant choice.
What is a challenge in accurately measuring pollution for setting the tax amount? Smart move. Identifying responsible firms is an accurate answer. Which of the following was not associated with early factory working conditions? You got it. Your choice, safe working conditions, is right. Name one noise control strategy that can be implemented in industrial settings. Nice work. You chose installing sound barriers or enclosures, and it is correct. Who is responsible for determining the national ambient air quality standards? Well picked. The Minister of Environment is the correct answer.
What is a common challenge in developing countries regarding air pollution?
Well done. Poorly regulated industries is the right choice. Increase in cases of skin cancer and high mutation rate are the result of? Excellent choice. Ozone depletion is the right answer. What is a benefit of tradable emission permits as a solution to pollution? You chose creates a flexible market, and it is correct. What is called for the pollution that is rise due to industrial activity? Smart pick. Industrial pollution is the correct choice.
What is one benefit of implementing a carbon tax on polluting companies?
On track. Increases production costs for firms is the correct answer. Which of the following are the largest contributors to global pollution? Well reasoned. Industrial pollution is the correct choice. What is a challenge in ensuring compliance with environmental standards? Valid point. Identifying responsible firms is true. Does the air pollution causes the equal effect on all the human beings? Correct response. No is the most accurate answer. Under which ministry does the Central Pollution Control Board operate? Nice work. You chose Ministry of Environment and Forests, and it is correct. What is the purpose of the Pollution Control Law Series publication? Excellent choice. To serve as a useful ready reckoner is the right answer. Which one is not the noise control methods by the reduction at path? Or smart pick. Relocating the employee from the sound field is the correct choice. What is the purpose of the National Environment Tribunal Act, 1995? Good job. Your answer to establish a tribunal for environmental cases works well here. What is a common solution for noise pollution in residential areas? You got it. Your choice installs soundproof windows and doors is right. What is the main function of the Central Pollution Control Board? Correct. To implement pollution control measures is the right answer. Which countries face significant challenges with air pollution? Great thinking. India and China is the right choice. What is a challenge in implementing tradable emission permits? Well picked. Accurately measuring emissions is the correct answer. What are the various types of pollution mentioned in the text? On track. Air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, noise pollution is the correct answer. How can companies benefit economically from pollution permits? You're right. By selling unused permits is the correct answer. Ventilation is one of the major controls to be taken to reduce. Excellent. Indoor air pollution is a brilliant choice. What is the function of the State Board under the Water Act?
Sharp thinking. Lay down standards for sewage trade effluent is the right choice.
There is our general approach to pollution control.
Solid response. 4 is a valid choice.
What is the impact of air pollution in developing countries?
Smart move. Significant due to industrial growth is an accurate answer, which is a solution for an industry to reduce pollution. Perfect. New technology is the correct choice. Any form of pollution can trace its immediate source to.
Right again. Industrial pollution is a valid answer.
Formerly known as National Pollution Control Commission.
Bravo. Department of Environment and Natural Resources is the answer.
Air pollution is one of the main causes of disease. Nicely done. Respiratory is a solid answer. The economic activities that produce soil pollution are. Exactly. Mining and agriculture makes sense and it is right choice.
Why were many countries able to bypass pollution laws?
Good thinking. Due to the lack of effective policies is the right answer. What is the purpose of the Central Water Laboratory? Nice selection. To analyze samples of water for pollution is the correct and valid answer. Which of the following is a source of air pollution? Well reasoned. Factories is the correct choice. What does the EPA regulate under the Clean Air Act? Clear logic. Your choice air quality is sound and 100% true. Pollution reduction is the responsibility of Great job. Both the government and the residents is the accurate answer. What was the primary goal of the Clean Air Act? Valid point. To control air pollution is true. Some actions to control the soil pollution are. You chose recycling and reusing, and it is correct, which is an activity which causes pollution.
Well done. Both of them is the right choice.
Individuals can reduce air pollution by Right choice. All of these is the best answer. Which is an effect of industrial pollution? Strong choice. All of them is the right answer. What is the overriding effect of the Act? Great job. It overrides all other laws related to pollution control is the accurate answer. How does air pollution affect people? Exactly. All of the above makes sense and it is right choice. What can we do to reduce pollution?
Smart pick. All of the above is the correct choice.
How you will get all these quiz questions in PDF books format. Correct response. Contact Narayan Changda is the most accurate answer.